All right, folks, welcome back to Rap Roll Call.
What's up?
Welcome back to Rap Roll Call.
Welcome back to Rap Roll Call.
All right, welcome back to Rap Roll Call.
Yeah, Happy New Year, Happy 2019, or we're hoping for a happier 2019.
Yeah, more productive 2019.
Yep. At least on our end, you guys do whatever you need to do.
Yeah,
but
fuck it.
Yeah.
Just watch YouTube.
Yep. Watch us.
Yeah.
So, being that it's been a really quiet start to the year, I'm basically just waiting for Tobacco and A$AP Rock to drop that album on the 18th, unless we want to do like a Rich the Kid preparation review show, which neither one of us voted yay on. We're going to go ahead and do something kind of like we did with the Tribe Called Quest and do sort of a little bit of a deep dive into Pro Era. Pro Era, sort of Beast Coast family.
They already know who I've been. Third eye wide, they should've let the flow ride in. Shit, let them begin to blend in with the pen and cut through it like the sun in the wind. Shit, I got them wavelengths on point. Let's make shift mischief, causing a menace up in the basement. Hazmatic aura, I'm not the one to play with. Steve's been tight with the flow since the slave ships.
My shit, do my best to make these dreams finally exist. But if I don't become the man I said I'm gonna be, remember me for who I was, and not for who I couldn't be. Off the wall, going in, and this in the blow, boy, we go.
Motherfucking microphone checker. Keep that grip tight like my Smith & Wesson. Ike with the mic, which nigga tryna turn up. Hit you with the hurtful fucking truth like Sojourner. Motherfucking microphone eater. Spitting high.
I'm trying to find my own lane in this freeway of life. Just remember, homeboy, it ain't no freeway to life. My nigga, it's gon' cost you. Try not to lose your soul. To the rims, hoes, and go. Cause once the devil grab hold, that nigga ain't letting go. And I'm far from religious. I just know.
Guess we'll dedicate, as we should, this episode to King Stilo, Capital Steez. Rest in peace.
R.I.P. Another year without a Steez album at that too.
Right. We were hoping for King Capital actually last month.
Yeah.
On the 6th anniversary of his passing. But I guess due to some legal complications and family issues, that didn't happen. But I get it. We get it.
Yep.
So we're just going to dive into a little about Pro Era.
Yeah, I don't know how we start this, whether we want to go sort of like in a linear fashion as far as like timeline, or if we want to just sort of...
Yeah. Well, I was thinking for those that don't know, we could give a little background on Pro Era, the movement, and kind of bring that into a contemporary context.
Okay.
You know, see where them boys are at now and what the future holds.
All right.
Questions, ideas, and stuff, you know.
Yeah.
So, back in 2011, a young kid in Flatbush, Capital Steez, hung out with a group of kids in school, you know, freestyling over the lunch table and stuff. After a show, like a $10 show, him and then DJ drummer Powers Pleasant decided, you know, why don't we form our own hip hop like supergroup or collective?
Yep.
Stilo wanted to name it Pro Era, Progressive Era, with the vision that it was going to be, you know, this conscious, you know, I hope that's not like a distilling term, but like this conscious, like open-minded rap movement for like for them, like the young kids in Flatbush in New York City. And they got together with the other homies, Joey Badass, CJ Fly, and a couple other cats, and started rapping together, recording a little bit. And they kind of just wanted to bring back the kind of jazz, boom bap, like East Coast sound and message with like with a kind of modern touch, you know, late 2000 or early 2010s kind of approach. These are young kids.
Yeah.
You know, Stilo at the time being like 17 and Joey and them being like 15.
Yeah.
Still in high school, still very young at heart, young at mind. But they started rapping. Stilo released his first mixtape with the help of Powers and everybody else.
Yeah.
And a few months later, Joey released probably still his greatest project, 1999.
Yeah.
That caught the attention of Johnny Shipes over at Cinematic Music, and that got him a deal. Him and his mom basically signed him over without the rest of Pro Era, which took kind of a toll on the rest of the group, namely Stilo, who didn't get nearly as much press or publicity, even though he was like the founder of the group, you know, and kind of the senior Pro Era dude there. But Joey got, you know, his starting off point that's, you know, brought him now to like being very huge, like kind of mainstream, well-known act.
He's in homes now, whether it's through music or through other mediums. I mean, sort of model,
he
sort of
passes
actor.
The, you know,
well, not sort of actor.
The grandpa test, or what is it?
The grandma
test. Yeah.
I mean, Justin Hunt's grandma test is in full effect on that one.
Yeah. So Joey's all over the place. You know, regardless, they still pushed forward as a group, as a collective. Everybody joined Joey on tour that summer, or that next summer in 2012.
Yeah.
And things started to get real dark. This was around the time Stilo started experimenting with psychedelics. He had been kind of a self-proclaimed
Indigo Child. Yeah.
And I guess that was sort of influenced by the weird, like, kind of spirituality or like new age mythicism kind of stuff that guys like underachievers, sort of their older friends in the group at the time.
Yeah, I mean, they definitely have a little bit of that, like, if you're familiar with, like, I mean, Terrence McKenna, like, expand your mind, expand your consciousness.
Yeah, so he picked up on a lot of that, like, third eye stuff, open up your third eye, your chakras.
Yeah.
And started becoming, like, a spiritual leader for the rest of the group in a really positive way at first. But I think the more, like, Joey was in the limelight and he wasn't, and the rest of Pro Era wasn't, I think the dude got super depressed, came back from tour, was really dark.
Yep.
You know, they did a couple events where he was either a no-show or just, you know, completely miserable.
Yeah.
And eventually, dude sends out a tweet that it's the end, and he throws himself off of the rooftop of Complex Magazine.
Yeah.
And
that was like right around Christmas.
Yeah. So, 12/23/2012, which for like the day one Pro Era heads, those numbers add up to 47.
47, yeah.
Which was a huge part of his philosophy and early Pro Era philosophy, as being like this number that represented like the supreme or ultimate balance in the universe.
Yeah.
Some, you know, mystical like numerology.
Yeah, there's definitely some like, I mean, numerology, conspiracy. I don't want to say full-on conspiracy theory, but
there's real conspiracy surrounding Steeze's death.
Yeah.
You know, there's theories ranging from, you know, Joey pushed him off, you know, and signed a deal with the devil.
Yeah.
To, you know, he never died and he's somewhere else, or he reached the spiritual plane and that he, you know, he is Christ conscious, or, you know, this elevated indigo child. Like, I don't mean to. Like,
46 and 2. Yeah, he somehow has. Shed his earthly form and become just pure energy. And
I mean, the family says, his mom and his sister say, you know, they never saw the body, and that may be because he was not in a state to be seen.
Right.
Or, you know, or there is something else behind the curtain.
And, I mean, truthfully, we are not saying any of this if this is what you believe, I feel like I'm at least here, and I think he's also with me. We're not here to discuss the
I'm not here to judge beliefs surrounding that or to make assumptions.
Yeah. Steez is gone.
Yeah, and however it went down or didn't, it definitely left a damper and scarred these young guys.
Yeah. Well, I mean, not a doctor, but all of them very young.
Right.
All of them like developing adolescent minds. and you're mixing like a lot of like fame and responsibility in with a cocktail of like drug use, at least, you know, mind sort of conscious expanding stuff.
Right.
On top of, I mean, I'm not here to question the guy's like mental state, but if there's any like pre-existing anything, that's not going to be helpful. And on top of that, then where do you go from there as a group of people after that when you're like a good friend?
Right.
Clearly sending a message by jumping off the roof of Complex. Right. It's heavy.
It is super heavy.
So where do we go from there?
I mean, from there, dude's kind of remained quiet for a very long time.
Yeah.
About Stilo, it's kind of focusing on independent projects.
Yeah.
I think it was another 2 years later, Joey dropped his first album.
Yeah, Before the Money.
Yeah, Before the Money. CJ Fly, Powers Pleasant, Chuck Strangers, they've all done their own little independent projects. You know, there's another, I think, 9 dudes on the roster who have done a variety of things. They released the Peep the Apocalypse album, I guess, or mixtape right before Stilo died. And I think Pro Era, like as a whole, as a collective or a movement, has been pretty quiet since.
Pretty dormant.
Yeah, Joey has remained in the spotlight, and you know, like 2 years ago, really hit his peak all over the place.
Yep.
We saw him during the All American Badass tour.
Yep.
And yeah, he's like super celebrity status.
Yep.
You know, he was on that Celebrity Therapist show. And I think, did you watch that?
Oh, I did.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that guy actually asked him to.
That was like one of the first times he opened up on camera.
Yeah, like talk
about the whole situation.
Yep. He's definitely been. I mean, there have been some issues. You know, there was a lot of controversy. I think this last year about Steez Day.
Right, an event they've held every summer since Steez died, just to kind of celebrate his life and his impact on that family.
Yeah, but there was some stuff from Steez's mom that came out. And
yeah, his sister and his mom have pushed back a lot. I don't think they really like the direction Joey has gone.
Yeah.
And
I mean,
I don't know. It feels real dark.
Yeah, and so I guess I'm going to throw these few things out because I feel like we talked about this before and we don't want to take this down any kind of road. There's a lot of, I think, heaviness and sadness that sort of surrounds all of this, and like none of this is to point blame or responsibility towards any part of Pro Era or Joey or anybody involved in that way. We're not taking sides, but we sort of researching and sort of talking about this episode, I sort of took it upon myself to sort of just think about what the label has been doing and how they can sort of be described, I guess, currently, or at least within the last, I would say, couple years, because I feel like we've probably seen like the most activity out of sort of the main members and then sort of their like adjacent, which would be like Underachievers, Flatbush Zombies.
Yeah, the greater Beast Coast
movement. Yeah. So, I mean, I think you can sort of divide. I think right now there's sort of 3 like conscious or subconscious operating lines of thought that are sort of working with maybe the people and the artists surrounding it. And I think that, you know, ultimately, I think that independent streak still like exists, where it's like the idea of let's take things back 20 years. Like, let's get back to that like boom bap, that jazzy, like East Coast sound that, you know, that's what I fell in love with. I mean, East Coast is still my coast, like when it comes to listening. You know, I think that especially with like Flatbush and UA, there's still sort of this like theme of like, I don't want to call it drug culture, but it's definitely still sort of this like mind expanding
rap,
you know, and I think that they've grown up a little bit too. Like when you listen to their mixtapes versus like what you're listening to now, it's not necessarily just like
Underachievers, especially.
Yeah, it's not just getting like blunted in order to like, you know, sort of float through your day and like take in all of the activities around you, or to shut all of them out.
Well, I think all of these kids were
kids.
Yeah, they were kids. Yeah.
Yeah.
But I mean, not that all of that kind of spirituality kind of stuff is completely juvenile in nature.
No.
But I think there was just so much information that they were exposed to, like in like rapid fire.
Yeah.
You know, like the indigoism kind of stuff.
Yeah.
You know, learning about chakras and, you know, meditation and you know, all of that, like
opening your third eye.
And like any young person, when you learn about something new and you're interested in it, it's going to be your MO, and you're going to paint everything you do in a coat of that new thing. You know.
Yep. There are lenses that you will see.
Right.
The world through.
Yeah, and everything goes through that filter. And now, like, it's still present in like the Flatbush and Underachiever Sound, but it's not like we're just gonna rap about, you know, ancient Egyptian, you know, mythology.
Yeah, no, there's way less like tinges of David Icke mixed with like a whole bunch of LSD, mixed with, you know, the day-to-day goings on in Brooklyn. I mean, the reality of, and that gets to sort of my second place, is this is still like real East Coast sound. I mean, there is still like a solid grasp on the reality that these guys like have witnessed and like want to rap about in their day-to-day life. So that has like not been tossed out the window at all, which is nice. There is still very much sort of a foot in that. I mean, whatever you want to call it, real hip hop, like put your big headphones on, put your backpacks on, you know, go out bombing trains, whatever you want to call it. Real heads, it's still very much represented. Big puffy coats, Timbs, the whole thing, that kind of feel. So there's that. And then I think there is, I think kind of touching on Joey, the other part of it, and this is maybe the controversial part, and this is where there's a lot of like, what would Steez have wanted? Where would this have gone? And that's, I think it's still a money-making enterprise.
Right.
And not that there's anything wrong with that, but it's like, for what reasons? Because you see like, you know,
I mean, hip hop will always be commercial.
It's always a money-making enterprise, but you know, like Joey's out there like modeling. He's, you know, on the second and third season of Mr. Robot. Like, and there's nothing wrong with that.
Yeah.
But I think it's then like where.
Yeah, and I mean, it's not to say Steez didn't want money himself.
Right.
You know, of course he was chasing after something bigger.
Right.
And like some kind of like, you know, fame and a little fortune.
True.
But it's where is that line drawn? How are the two sides balanced?
Right. I mean, considering where some of these guys came from, I think philosophically, at least at the beginning, and I'm not saying that it's not still there. I think you still very much hear it in like Chuck Stranger's stuff, is the like validity and like authenticity of where you're coming from.
Right.
And that I will say you don't hear that as much these days in the world of hip hop. It's still out there, but you got to dig a little bit more to find like where is the money sort of separated from the meaning and the why you're doing something.
Right.
And that's become part of it. And I think that kind of has led to some of this backlash from Steez's mom and sister. Like, is this still a celebration, or is this like a money-grabbing operation?
Right.
I don't know. I mean, I don't even know what you call that, because I haven't, you know, lost somebody in my life that way that I felt the need to pay tribute to in such a way. So I don't know. Those are open-ended questions, but I figure we'd throw those out there, I guess, to sort of maybe lead us into, you know, maybe what we're looking forward to, and kind of this last year, what is still like, you know, we can still celebrate and like talk about from like a pro era standpoint. So
and I just want to add something to that.
Yeah.
Joey Badass is still a young dude. He's what, 23, 24 now?
Yeah.
Like, I'm excited if he keeps at it and doesn't just go full-blown, you know, Vogue model. You know, if he's still rapping in another 15 or 20 years.
Right.
Dude, I'd love to hear, like, how he evolves.
Yeah.
You know?
All American was amazing. Don't get me wrong. Like, if he can grow from that.
Yeah, and it was a commercial sound, like sonically, but it still had that core message.
Yeah.
You know, and I think it was, I was telling you, I did a whole project in school about All American Badass, and it was a very, I don't know, like poignant and like fitting commentary.
Yep.
And
I think I said that it was the best record of
what is that,
2017.
Yeah, but it came from the right place.
Yeah.
You know, even with that extra coat of, makeup and, money thrown into production and marketing and stuff, like, it was still like the real deal.
Yeah.
And, Joey's going to do Joey, and he's going to be like young and explore things,
Yeah.
He's just become a father, but we didn't, and I don't mean to make this kind of comparison everybody makes about everything. Like, we're talking about a rapper, let's compare him to Tupac, and I'm not comparing Joey to Tupac, but
whoa, this show just took on a whole new layer.
Listen, all I'm saying is there were a lot of dudes in the golden age and the early days of gangster rap that we didn't get to see like bloom or blossom into older rappers the way we did, Ice Cube or Ice-T, like we've seen some of that, but I'm interested to see somebody like Joey or somebody like Kendrick, these voices for the current generation as older men, as the senior authorities in hip hop in, the 2030s, 2040s, whatever.
Yeah.
And, hear his take on whatever the fuck kind of society we're living or not living in at that time.
Yeah.
And there's nothing wrong with taking a little break and stepping back. You say you don't want to hear Kendrick this year. Maybe we're not hearing Joey for a couple years for a good reason.
Yeah.
Maybe the rest of Pro Era, hopefully, is making a big comeback.
Right.
And it becomes a collective, collaborative thing again.
Yeah.
And,
marshal the troops and get everybody.
Like, I want to be positive about it.
Yeah.
And yeah.
Yeah, and I don't want to. I think some of this is just more. Now I just feel like I sat in here and was Nancy, but I feel like, and I don't want to come across that way. I think some of it just has to be like questioned a little bit because, I think because you want the best out of, because you've seen what people can do. Like,
you see somebody's
1999 and before everything that he's touched has been golden. I think we can both agree on.
Yeah.
Even like some of his like bizarre like
the
singles
King's Dead remix with Tentacion.
Yeah. Even that was like, all right.
Yeah.
Wasn't expecting that, but and yeah, I think also because Steez isn't here to like speak and we only have like that little bit of what he was, it makes you wonder, like, I think in a weird way, I'm probably doing this and a lot of people are doing it, and they're wanting Joey to be Joey and what Steez would have been together. And unless it reaches that bar, unless it reaches that unreachable internet bar, we're all going to be, well, what happened?
Right.
So you're right. It will be interesting. Take as much time as you need. Everybody take as much time as you need. Definitely. I'd rather, that's the thing. Last year we got that Chuck Stranger's album. Mm-hmm. That shit was ill. It was so good. We got a UA album.
Yeah, and a Flatbush album. Yeah, and I think there's some talk out there of another, like, massive, like, kind of Beast Coast revival, maybe another, like, Beast Coast world tour and project to boot.
Yeah.
Pro Era, Flatbush, and UA all together again. And, let it cook. Let that shit simmer. We can wait.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I'm down.
Yeah.
Cheers to that.
Yeah.
You got anything else?
Not really, no.
All right.
But, if you guys aren't up to speed on Joey Bada money sign as my coworker once read to me. Check out everything Joey's done.
Yeah.
Go back and check out American Corruption, the mixtape Stilo released the year he died.
Yep.
Check out Peep the Apocalypse.
Yep. You can find some stuff that's like, I think Sway. There's some old like Sway footage with all of them, like in the studio, like on Fly Rap or something like that.
Check out the video. Actually, do this first. Check out the video Survival Tactics.
Yep.
I think that's the best introduction you can have
Yep.
into like where this conversation started.
Yeah.
Like early pro era.
Yeah.
And just that like raw New York youth in the streets kind of stuff.
Yeah.
Check that out. Check out Pro Era.
Yeah. That Chuck Stranger's album from last year. I mean, anything. I mean, still like Powers Pleasant production stuff is.
Yeah, there's some Powers Pleasant scattered around there.
Yeah.
Check out the rest of Beast Coast, Flatbush.
Yeah.
Some fucking crazy dudes. But it's fun.
Michi Darko.
Maybe not the most like relatable part of that whole movement to me, but there's talent all across the board.
They're fun.
Yeah.
I mean, they're fun. Just check out the video of them talking about their upcoming album from last year, sitting in a diner, and all the like guest appearances.
Oh, the intro to Vacation. Yeah.
It's worth checking out. With Joey, he's on it. But yeah. I think that pretty much wraps it up. I guess, if you guys have anything to say, like let us know in the comments. I'm pretty sure this guy just made a direct equivocation of Joey to Tupac, so you should definitely yell at him about that. It's going to be great. Otherwise, we're still on Facebook. We are still on Instagram.
Twitter.
Yeah, please like or don't like. Subscribe to our channel.
Yeah, react to the video, subscribe, ring the bell for notifications.
Yeah.
Hopefully we'll have another project coming into this month.
Yeah.
And get back into some sort of cycle here, like we say at the end of every video. But maybe rappers just need to make more music that we're interested in.
That's right.
Because we are the defining tastemakers now with our 18 subscribers.
Yep.
God bless every one of you. Tell your friends and family.
Yep. Mostly tell your friends.
Yeah.
All right. 2019.
Yeah.
Good
Cheers.
music.
Take it easy.